Oh, how he beguiles the press, who prance before his podium like homeless waifs in old England, awaiting the proffered pence from the hands of the blessed chosen. He regales them in known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. And they scribble these pearls of wisdom onto their notebooks like obedient children, ignorant of their sense, while he looses the horrors of war and terror in jazzy riffs of obfuscation, while they, befuddled by his merriment, forget the death and destruction he came to announce to the nation. Oh, how many talking fools bob their heads before the multitudes on fluent screens, chortling with glee this clown's distortions of the truth. That things that have not happened could not have happened had they sense. They have mesmerized the people who sit in silence acceptance of fallacies only in a Riley or Rush could conjure to certitude. Minds made infallible by ignorance and ego. To think I knew them all before. Yet yielded I to their vain entreaties to join the team to make America great. And yes, I would have full control of state, free to assert a direction and design. Oh, the fulfillment of a dream deferred. The mark of the oppressed made visible at last for all to see as I guided this ship of state. What a joke. What ignorance propels me? What made me think power would be handed to a nigger? Did I think the true thought evaporated when the word was expunged? Have I joined the hollow men, heartless, cruel, vengeful, cursed? Shall I ride this frightful hearse to his inescrutable end, or shall I pluck myself free and pray that I can salvage eternity? If there is one face that epitomizes this ship of fools, it is this. This is not a face of flesh. There is no person there. No form that grew in time from the mewling child. Rather, this is the face of heaven cursed to walk the earth forever. Lucifer incarnate in our shape, vengeance made palpable, seeking the destruction of God's creation, the mariner damned to walk the earth day after day, to live its horror before all mankind, alone and barren, bereft of human kindness and love. This face, a wandering form without substance, without conscience, without compassion, without remorse, power and control propel this monster. Oblivious and pained of suffering, since he cannot die again, his life is everlasting death. Damned to wander the earth's byways, witnessed to the weeping mothers and children who cling to each other despite the devastation. He sees the love that binds, a love he cannot share, yet he knows that it alone is life's fulfillment. Such is the power that plays with this putty. Here is true commedia dell'arte. The mask presented to the people, but the voice that speaks through the mask personified evil in the form of Rove. America hears his self-mocking fool and loves his bumbling manner, but neither the fool nor the people know the source of his mindless banter. This Lucifer ties two threads of fate with magnificent dexterity. The neocons sugar-coated hate and God's gift to humanity, as sold by the righteous marketers who coat the hearts and minds of their idolaters with fear and prophecy. Oh, I should raise the specter of all his evil horde this night to haunt my dreams and drive my despair as I grope in blindness to confront what comfort I have conferred on this crew that does the bidding of Beelzebub, casting the naive and innocent to their doom. They must not escape this catalog of hate that spreads their images before my mind, as they spread their lies and conceit before the people they have vowed to protect. Images of hypocrisy garbed in the gown of God's chosen prophets, as real as the storied patriarchs that predicted God's reign of wrath, threatening his creatures with the sword of fire to destroy those who came to save. Their names must be emblazoned on the forehead of time, a monument to their everlasting crime. Graham, Powell, Robinson, and Agony, the Dominionists, the End-Timers, and Lindsay, all who presume to know the Word of God, using fear, not love, to drive their ambition. These deceivers drove the frightened and afflicted to give aid and comfort to the terrorists who plagued the poor Palestinians, finding justice in the horror of God's Armageddon that gave right to might as they blessed the lives of these dissemblers. I saw them come and go. I met them in their temples of gold, but said not a word of dissent. What stubborn will kept me silent? Why could I not speak? Why not cry to the very heaven that they portray the compassionate Christ they claim to love? Where have I buried my sinful soul? Here bows the born-again Christian, self-righteous in his indignation of those who question his declaration of who is evil and who blessed by God to lead his mission of salvation against the infidels that threaten his dominion throughout the world. In his humble hands lies the fate of all mankind. Does he believe these myths? Is he an imposter, fraud, blind, or delusional? Does the deception lie in Rove's artifice? Or do I serve a man of infinite deceit? Certainly, I am to blame for this. I chose to serve the chicken hawks, the very image of those I once decried, cowards who send their young and poor to serve in their stead, whole bodies used as organs to salvage the rich. What images come to mind of Cheney snarl face to face with the sergeant's call to push-ups? Wolfowitz and Pearl bedecked in ribbons that flow over their protruding guts. while Junior wades in the fields of mud on his way to the local pub. What visions of security they portray. Perhaps it's better they not serve, but rather salute real men in battle array. Yet, to him and to them I do homage. To hollow men come to life. No longer the forgotten images of Eliot's barren waste, but bones fleshed in cynicism and hate, eyes that I would not dare meet in death's dream kingdom I greet now with full abeyance, like some mouses of old, with shifting feet and eyes to the ground, the invisible man shifting about lest I be flung from the citadel that I breached these many years ago. Why do they do what they do? What gain is there? For whom? Dare we think of the vanquished? Dare we accept that we destroy the only true purpose of life? What perversity drives our end to self-destruction and our doom? Oh God, what years I have devoted to duty and dedication that it should come to this night of reparation where I must confront myself defeated and alone like some aged penitent who shambles towards the confessional, trembling and terrified that absolution will be denied and death will not come, but morning will. And every store window will tell of deeds done in silence, truths not told, defiance put on hold. I stand here now, the only face that must confront the faces it has met, that must judge itself, not them. For they are but ghosts of my decisions or indecisions that have wrought the chaos that plagues me this night. Am I but a slave to impulse? To a perversity that offers no pleasure, just the irrational drive to slay self-preservation? Or is this but a defense of the truth? Now, I must play priest and penitent, conjure up those points in time that pricked my soul as I capitulated to those who held my future by a tether like Edward's spider over the flame, ready to drop me into the perdition of lost opportunity and advancement, to breach the walls of the white man's fortress after 400 years of sweat, of humiliation and defeat, to subvert from within the very system that controlled the oppressed and determined their fate. That is the dream turned to nightmare. I know the day and hour of my defeat. It was a sin of omission, of known horrors untold, of cold bodies buried in the clay at Mile. I knew and said nothing, and learned that silence has its own rewards for those in power that control others by controlling what they know. That omission earned me stars and forged the first link in the chain that grew like Marley's day by day until I was fettered as solidly as any of my forebears that served as chattel to that civil society that shackled the slave. Stop it, you fool. Orders are but masks of the conscience that delude the soul and hide their evil as duty to the state. There was a time I obeyed, and I knew how I was used. I cut a pretty picture then, a useful tent to present to the public, carefully manicured, and my ribbons and stars, the perfect image for the party of the people, used as only patricians use their slave. I dressed out their dining halls. I stood impassive, impressed, beside their elegantly dressed wives, bedecked in pearls and diamonds and grinning smiles. I knew my place and I kept it well, adding, day by day, a new link to the chain that choked my conscience, shutting out the air of reason and right. As I crawled home each night to seek solace in darkness, yes, to crawl out of the light. How corrupt have I become? Do I answer now to right or wrong? Do I instill my desires on my own kin? Do I link them to my chain? Prisoners of my foibles? Victims of my duteous excuse that releases me from judgment to acquiescence to those that pull my chain? I am no Prince Hamlet indeed. A pun as corpulent as my dejected mood. I am not even Lord Procrastinator, who at least has the prospect of becoming. I have forgone all, lost the chance to act. I have become a victim of Cheney's venom. Just another mannequin to be placed in his window, dressed to do his deeds. Why, if I am content to be his lackey, do I suffer so? I tried to stop the first slaughter that ended in that highway of death.